He has a 1-1 count. That one's struck high. Left side. That one's going. That's out of here off the ropes. You have to be kidding me. Fireworks. Here you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and welcome all inside another edition of, where am I at? High and Tight. That's right. The flagship show, part of the iBaseball Network. We love to talk all about what there is from the baseball perspective. High school, professionals, college ranks, it doesn't matter. We love to talk all about that. And so if you have found the show, if you have found the need of baseball in Iowa, even in December, we've got you covered. And a lot of things to go through here. Again, we do have our bat giveaway coming on up. We'll have a secret signee on there, and we'll let you know about all of that and more coming on up. But first and foremost, again, make sure to catch with us for the Coaches Clinic. We have our annual giveaway. Again, it will be the 17th and 18th, and it will be on the 18th that we officially will get the winner. Again, we'll give you plenty of chances to get your name in the mix and get all that going. Again, we have a random wheel generator that we'll just spin that. We'll spin it several times, and then whatever comes out, the name that comes out is the winner. So again, we're going to get that sign, and it's one of those really cool crayon bats, right, by Victus. They go above and beyond making some really cool style bats, and so we thought might as well break out the crayon and more. So that's there for you. Make sure to check that out. Again, our Coaches Clinic giveaway. But again, before we go any further here, again, I am Andrew Brown, your co-host, helping to drive you through this show. Make sure to go back and check out the reaction from Cade Nissen and myself on the state tournament 2025 in Sioux City. What does that mean? Plus, there's coming on up the full edition of our interview with Andy Umpton of the Iowa High School Athletic Association. We got a little bit tidbit as to why not Principal Park, but then he really dives into why Sioux City and all the great things that Sioux City can provide and everything that goes into a decision years in the making. So make sure to check that out today as well. But first and foremost, again, we got a great edition here. We're going to be talking about a lot of baseball with Max Burt. That's right, the phenom in Iowa. You've known him well, and he is with the Iowa Hawkeyes now, staying in state collegiately, and man, what a great thing that is. We get the chance to talk with him about a camp he has coming up from the Yard. That's right, a fantastic facility. If you haven't caught our episodes in the past from the Yard, great facility, great people. Man, it's a great time. And we're going to chat with Max about his camp and as well as others as we go down the road as well. But we're going to get all the tips, tricks, and more from the one and only Max Burt coming on up. But first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I got to take a look at some of the best things I have seen today. And it is a repeat, but it's well worth noting that we have history in the making. NICC baseball, they have officially wrapped up their first ever inaugural recruiting class. And we're seeing history, man. We got a lot of great players that are heading to the Cougars. And so, they jump into quite the league here. I mean, JUCO ball in Iowa is amazing from, Kirkwood, Southeastern. The Blackhawks have been absolutely stellar here. Iowa Central. That's without, Indian Hills mentioned as well. And, of course, at the higher ranks, the D1 ranks, of course, Iowa Western as well. So, NICC jumps into a pool that's really big and really talented, but it's going to add to the overall greatness that is JUCO ball in the state of Iowa. So again, if you get the chance, check them out. We'll go ahead and help out with a jersey reveal, which is coming soon. I can't wait for it, and so we're going to have a lot of fun with that. But give some love and support. The stores are open to get some NICC gear. We'll make sure to post that up on all across our social media platforms. So make sure to get that out there and get to that today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into it. The reason we came here is the man, the myth, the legend known as Max Burt. He's joining us on the Insulites.com hotline. And of course, he is from the University of Iowa and hanging out there doing some great stuff with the Hawkeyes. We bring him on. And Max, appreciate you coming on. And I know that there's a lot of things you could be doing right now, but appreciate the time with us here today.
Absolutely. Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, man, I got to say that a camp, as we're talking about your camp, right? We're talking about what you're putting on for a lot for anybody who, I mean, if they haven't already filled up the slots, they should right now. We're going to be talking about what the camp's coming up, what it entails, some other things that you have learned from your time in the baseball world, and so just kind of getting that preview of, ladies and gentlemen, all that's to come. So what you hear now is just a snidbit of what Max will help put on at, again, a great facility at the yard. So, Max, first off, I got to ask, you staying safe with the ice? Because right now, as we record this, there's ice everywhere. Hopefully, you guys are staying nice and cooped up here somewhere.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Trying to stay off the roads as much as possible, especially driving the moped around in Iowa City. It gets dangerous.
I bet, man. I bet it can be. I mean, Iowa City is a beautiful place, but when it gets slippery, man, it's just basically an ice rink and a lot of like bumper bowling, as I like
Yeah.
to call it sometimes, especially with some of those hills. But what's first before we get into the camp here, Max? What's going on for you right now? I know that obviously we've had fall season already done, over with. You're into this. So what is your schedule like as you go through the winter months? What do you entail? What entails your schedule, and kind of what's the in and outs of what you do on a day to day basis now?
Yeah. So our fall season kind of ended mid to the end of October.
Hmm.
That's where we're kind of done with team practices, scrimmages. We had our fall World Series then. And then the following week, then we kind of started our individual sessions, which
Hmm.
are you only have a certain amount of time you can be with the coaches. So we kind of have our blocked out time with our small groups that we can work with our coaches. So we do that a couple times a week. We're lifting 4 times a week during this time. And then other than that, you just get in as much work on your own as you can. As a catcher, always trying to catch bullpens and stuff, help out the pitchers as much as you
Hmm.
can. And yeah, just get into class.
Well, and of course, all that time, bullpen catching, I think is something I want to touch on here. You mentioned get your time in there. I think there's more to it than just, hey, go in there and catch and working on skills. I imagine that by the time you get to the season, you know a lot of these pitchers so well just from catching bullpen here. How well does it for those catchers out there trying to get better at their craft? How important is it to catch bullpen at something that some may seem as not important, but obviously it's more important than that.
Yeah, it's huge. Just getting to develop that relationship with pitchers, um, gain their trust. I mean, if you're throwing to a guy that you can trust that's going to block that, two-strike curveball in the dirt and throw him out at first, it's huge just being able to have that confidence, even if it's not, in the facility catching them, just going for lunch, talking to them,
Hmm.
picking their brain on what they like in certain counts, certain situations, and then just learning from them myself. Like I got the opportunity yesterday to catch Ty Landenberg, who's a former Hawkeye and now a big leaguer. So just getting those opportunities, kind of picking their brain, seeing what they think. Yeah, and just learning as much as possible.
Yeah, and gosh, isn't that really cool? The fact that you get to do that, and again, Iowa brings that to the table. How many guys continually go on to that next level, and really, really cool to see. And so, what if first off, also have to ask, what is your take on Iowa City now? I know you've been there. I know it's you've been there. You've gotten in the routine, all of that here. But what's Iowa City been like? I mean, has University of Iowa City, has it lived up to your expectations, or what do you think coming in, and what do you think now?
Yeah, I mean Iowa City's awesome. It's pretty lucky being a part of a team you kind of already have 40-some built-in friends. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to go through that awkward part, where you're on a new campus and you don't know anyone and stuff, and then going from, Newman, where I graduated with 40-some people in my class, to now going to classes that have 200 and some people in them, just big lectures like that it's a big difference. But I think the transition was um, it was pretty smooth for the most part. Had the dorm life last year,
Hmm.
which was a cool experience. Enjoyed that as much as I could, and then now just live with a couple guys on the baseball team. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been awesome. Iowa City's great for sure.
Nice, nice, and of course, again, love Iowa City, love the venue. The field renovations happening, yes, have been happening or currently underway, continuing on. That's gonna be really cool. Can't wait to see the updated on that. But Max, now I want to get to your camp coming on up, right? So you've got a lot of things going for you. You still take the time to do something like this, to put on a camp. A lot of people in the Mason City area and beyond have seen what you're capable of. Have seen everything. I mean, from the biggest games even to the seemingly smallest games, you're always putting on a great show. So I did also have to ask, how important was it for you to do something like this? Because your schedule is loaded. You got a lot of things, and even if it wasn't, maybe a week or two off wouldn't be a bad thing. But you go in and you put up a camp like this. How important was it for you to make this happen?
Yeah, throughout my childhood, I guess my dad was always a high school coach, and I just remember, his players taking the time to play catch with me, talk to me, whether it was at practice or after a game. Specifically, Seth Tuttle, who played at West Fork and then went on to play basketball at UNI. But he would always, whether it was football practice, basketball practice, you know, guys like that were really big role models for me.
Yep.
Just kind of influenced me to try and give back to kids because I was once in those shoes,
Yep.
and I looked up to guys that played sports and wanted to be like them, and now I got to try and be like them in the way of giving back to, as much as I can at least.
Yeah. Well, and it really is. They get to see what you have been doing again this fall and beyond, but also they get to relive kind of the great moments you have had in high school. And it's one thing to come from high school to college, but man, to come from Newman, again, that's storied. That's storied program, as you very well know. You get it to Iowa. You talk about the transition there, but talk about the transition about from just programs. It just seems like, I mean, obviously Newman took it very seriously, and you saw that every year. You
Yeah.
take it very seriously. Iowa does. So, how has that transition been like from one program in Newman to now seemingly the same intensity at Iowa?
Yeah, like obviously you said it. Newman has a really great tradition. A lot of that goes with the coaches, Coach Bull, passed down from Coach Adams. Yeah, and it's considered to be a baseball school. Not to downplay any of the other sports, obviously, but
Mhm.
so yeah, there's always that. Um, I don't know, that feel that you got to take it serious. And another thing is just the guys that came before, the upperclassmen, always made sure to kind of pave the way for the younger guys, teach them the right things. And I mean, it's the same thing here. Last year we had a really good group at Iowa. Kind of helped teach the younger guys how we go about things.
Yep.
And it's just kind of continued. And then as the younger guys grow, then they teach the younger guys. So yeah, I would just say just the people are the biggest thing that make a difference. The coaches, and then that tradition of just continuing to do things the right way, to the best of your abilities.
And it's great that, I mean, the tradition never stops. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking with the one and only Max Burt of the Iowa Hawkeyes. And of course, as we bring up on the screen here, oh, that's really big here. I'm getting used to this here, Max. So bear with me.
Where
But we have Max Burt catching camp officially here. And again, December 30th, you just want to be there. You want to be there and everything that has, and it's not just baseball here, obviously softball involved as well. And again, get in there, ages 9 to 18 at the yard. Man, what more could you like? And so first off, take us through, Max. What's going to be the breakdown here? I know we see it on the screen there a little bit, but what's the breakdown of times and ages? What can people expect when they get there, or if they've already paid and are ready for it? What can they expect once they arrive?
Yeah, so we'll just kind of obviously gather as group, talk over what we're going to do, and then really with this one just being a 1 day camp, we're just going to try and get after it as much as we can. We're going to
Yep.
talk about some of the basics of just like receiving and kind of the importance of that. We'll go through some blocking progression stuff, and then probably get to some throwing stuff too. Um, Also, just as much as we want to work on, physical ability, and trying to develop those skills and learning drills and all of that stuff. I'll also try and take as much time as possible to talk about, like baseball as a sport of failure and
Yep.
how, it's not easy. It's not gonna just come quick all the time, and you just gotta, stay the course and work on these things as much as you can and develop and understand how much of a, mental aspect there is to playing baseball, whether it's in the field or hitting,
Hmm.
and just kind of talk about that pitcher development or that pitcher relationship development and just
Yep.
kind of learning, some more baseball IQ as much as possible.
Yeah, certainly that baseball IQ goes a long way. And now that you've got the chance here, you've gotten in the college ranks here, you see what that is like. I mean, how much more exacerbated is it when it gets to the collegiate ranks? Because I know that these kids will come in here. Their next look is to go to the high school ranks, right, and go through there. But a lot of them are, a lot of them are looking at, hey, where can I take this? And as you should, how far can I take this? And you're a great example of that. How far can you go when you really push yourself? But how important is it with that, the baseball IQ side of things? You mentioned sport of failure, man. How vastly important is it at the college level? Because I assume that it gets, like I said, exacerbated, and it could be the difference between whether you continue on or whether you fail.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a big difference, obviously, that jump from high school to college. Like, you show up and first live at bats, you see 96 on the gun, and then it's not just 96 on the gun. They have a good slider and a changeup, and you get humbled pretty quick.
Yeah.
But you just kind of have to understand that you just kind of have to roll with it and can't get too high and can't get too low. Um, I know for sure something I'll bring up is like, in what other sports can you fail 7 out of 10 times and be considered good? You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
not other sports um, that you can do that and still be considered good. I'll obviously bring up like Juan Soto just signed huge contract. In 2024, he batted like 288. Like, I mean, like we're talking, and then we have like young kids that they'll get out twice in a game, still bat 500, and have their head down and, oh, I suck because I struck out, and just like
Mm.
kind of trying to talk more about how you just have to like stay the course no matter how
Yeah.
high or how low things are going for you, and that baseball is a game of failure, and you're gonna fail, and all you can do is, yeah, just get after it the next
Yeah.
time.
That's perfect mindset, and I really anybody out there, you're going to be glad that you get the chance to do this and learn from Max. But Max, I also, as we continue on with the Insights.com hotline here, I also got to ask when it comes to techniques, you've caught a lot of good pitchers in high school. Obviously, a shout out to Douglas Taylor and all that he was able to do. Shout out to all those. And you mentioned bullpen session with Langberg, all those guys. So you've caught a lot of variety. You've caught guys that hit 90. I mean, it seems like you have come in here really ready and really step up in that role. But what's some of the most, I guess, overlooked techniques when it comes to being a catcher? What do you see when kids get in there and they miss this one thing or miss these couple things that end up being foundational pieces? What are some of the biggest things that you look for first off to build that foundation and then move on as a catcher?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can just start with the stance, and just being comfortable there. I mean, in catching, if you watch college or um, major league catching, I mean, there's so many different unique looking stances now with the one knees down and all that. So it's kind of starting with that, but then it's just a lot of it's just timing. Um,
Yeah.
Catching's changed and it continues to change and develop. This year or in college here, I've been really, really fortunate to work with some really, really awesome catching coaches.
Mm.
I had Coach Snep last year for the first front half of the year, and he's now with the Red Sox. Um, and then Coach Sean Moore took over for him for the second half of the year. And then this year we have Coach Tyler Cropley, who
Yeah.
played big league ball with the Royals. So just getting to learn from him and learn some of those things. And we've really worked on a lot of timing aspects, working from the ground up. Um, yeah, just trying to make everything we can look like a strike. We're really just trying to trick umpires to think, that balls off the plate are there, balls below, the zone are there, and yeah. So that's probably the biggest thing is just timing.
Yeah.
Starting down, working things back up in the zone, kind of funneling it towards the plate.
Definitely, definitely. And then with this group again, with the kids that are going to be there, again, ladies and gentlemen, both softball, baseball, get in there. There's a lot of things to learn there. Uh, is there something that you found in your baseball career that catchers tend to over pursue in terms of do they try and are they going to try and be Superman with something, or are they overlooking, or is there something that's over defined in your estimation when it comes to that? Because I mean, for example, every pitcher wants to get up there and throw 90, yet to get the path to get there still needs to happen. Is there something like that you've seen catching wise that some of the younger catchers might overlook?
I think I think oftentimes catchers, I don't know, see like Yadier Molina who has a hose, right? And like I want to throw it down hard this the second,
Yep.
and I want to throw runners out, and the way they think they do that is just by gearing up and chucking it as hard as they can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think sometimes just overlooking like some of the smaller technique things,
Okay. Yeah.
just like footwork and getting the ball out of your glove quick and understanding that an accurate throw um, that's quick is going to be a lot quicker pop time than one where you just gear up and chuck it. Just things
Yeah.
like that, and just overlooking the main thing is like a catcher, like your name is catcher, you got to catch the ball. That's the first thing you got to
Yep.
do. And receiving is the biggest part of catching, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I love that you bring that up because that is the basis of it, right? The basis of catching. If you can't do that, it doesn't matter what kind of what kind of an arm you have. And I love that you brought that up. I love that very very great mindset for it because so many kids. Again, we all want to be the flashiest guy out there, but in the end, the one who gets it done, the one that has the great techniques here. And again, ladies and gentlemen, technique wise, Max Burt is one of the best here. And again, the camp coming on up here. Get it in December 30th there. Also, before I go any further here, they can obviously they can contact, I believe, the yard. Go ahead and contact that for that. How else can they get there? Do you accept kind of walk ups there at the time? I'm sure that it gets filled up. So I mean, the best thing is to get it in now, sign in now, get there. But what can people expect there? Well, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so the first way obviously is just go to the yard.com or theyardmc.com.
Mm-hmm.
Sign up there. You could also call the yard possibly,
Okay.
and sign up that way, or we will accept anybody that walks up too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the easiest way is just to go to theyardmc.com. And another thing is I'm
Yeah.
also doing a hitting camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be the 30th and the 31st, um, for the same ages, 9 through 18,
Yep.
boys and girls. Um, Ages 9 through 13 will be 11 to 12, and then
Mm-hmm.
14 through 18 will be 12:30 to 1:30, and that'll be a 2-day camp for the hitting one.
And with that here as well, it's not only just uh, so much that goes into that here, and we'll bring that up here for everybody here, just making sure. Uh, Love that I blow that up way too much here. Max, I'll get there eventually. But again, this is something where, I mean, one, great value to get in there, and I love the fact that you bring it a 2-day camp and bring it to when a lot of people are available, right? They're on holiday, they can do that. And again, for hitting, what's been, as a catcher, I've always wanted to ask this. Catchers seem to be the ones that get worn out, not that I see worn out, but you're going from all that gear. You're the one directing things behind the plate. Then you get up, and you're the ones that see the zone, right? You see how the zone works. Uh, how much does what is that? Well, first off, what is that like from being a catcher's perspective? How can kids look at that and kind of use that to their advantage, knowing that find the zone yourself as a catcher and then find it as a hitter or vice versa. How impactful is that, and how could kids use that in their development, just like you have?
Yeah, 100%. It's a huge benefit. Even just in that first inning, getting to see, okay, the ump wasn't calling things in the outer half of the zone, or he's calling things a ball below the zone, and just being able to use that to your personal advantage, obviously when you're up to hit, but then also passing that on to your teammates
Hmm.
and trying to help them with that as much as possible. But yeah, I definitely think it's a huge advantage to kind of get that perspective
Yep.
um, before you go up to hit.
Yeah, and when it comes to the college ranks, that's again everything exacerbated. But you get there, and I've seen a lot of guys get there, step up, and there's a lot of pop ups, a lot of ground balls. And I know that at University of Iowa, you guys do a great job of really homing in on that. And of course, with your decorated past in the high school game as well, you know that very well. But what are some of the things that you do when you go up to bat to kind of try and eliminate those kind of things, those pop-ups, those weak grounders? And not that we've seen very few and far between from you, Max. So that's why I asked this, because you seem to really do a great job with timing, all that kind of stuff in there. So what do you do when you get up at, what do you look for? I mean, what do kids, when they get up there, what should they be looking at? And of course, what we'll be seeing at these camps.
Um, you know, I think it starts just in the on deck circle,
Mm-hmm.
just walking up to the plate, chest out, confident.
Yep.
Um, whether you were 0 for your last six or 6 for your last six, like you
Yeah.
got to walk up the same every time, ready to do damage, ready to do whatever that is to help the team out. So I think it starts there, and then just walking up with a mindset and an approach. That's one of the biggest things I definitely started to learn about here is just that approach aspect of hitting, whether it's going up there thinking, all right, this guy, and we get an amazing scouting report from Coach Sutherland and the coaches here. So just, this guy throws 60% fastballs in these counts or whatever. Just,
Yeah.
all right, I'm getting a fastball, and until I get a fastball, I'm not swinging.
Okay.
And then when you do get, a curveball for a strike, like not changing up, like, oh crap, now what's he going to throw?
Mm-hmm.
Just sticking to your approach. Having a routine at the plate, taking a breath, things like that, I think are the biggest thing. Just not getting sped up and
Yep.
not kind of getting off your course or your approach. Just sticking to it, staying confident through it all.
And man, I gotta say, you seem to be one of the more confident guys out there, Max, and rightfully so. You get a lot of success with that. Hey, everybody, there is something big out there for all you softball and baseball fans, coaches, players, and more. It's called Victory Mounds. That's right, from portable pitching mounds, field products, and field services trusted to use by both coaches and players alike, there's a whole lot to love. Mike Donahoe, who's in charge of products and equipment, makes sure it is nothing short of premium quality. Plus, Craig Allison, who's the national sales executive, is one of those journeymen who just knows baseball back and forward, can do it in his sleep, can eat, live, breathe it. He's got it all. And of course, Rush Niggett has been there. He's seen what's worked at high school fields, what worked at college fields, what doesn't work at any field. He has got it all. All three of them are journeymen who know what to look for. So make sure you check them out today at victorymounds.com. And hey, oh, by the way, if you mention that you heard them on our broadcast, you could earn a free assessment on the playability of your field. That's right. They'll come out, check it out, and see how playable it is and beyond. They'll help you get your field to the next level. That's right. They've got everything and every question answered. That's right. From pitching mounts to pitching rubbers, home plate, and beyond. They've got it all. And all you have to do is check out victorymounds.com. Every question is answered right on their Q&A section, so make sure to check that out today. And hey, make sure to have it a great day with Victory Mounds. All right, everybody, as we continue along, I want to take a break to mention the great folks to help bring us this episode, and that is the one and only Hitting Approach. Coaches, everybody out there, hey, if you have ever spent so much time putting data into a spreadsheet long after the game is done, still trying to track where your kids are data-wise and beyond, and taking so much time away from your job as coaching, all that can be alleviated. That's right. What was a dream is now reality thanks to Hitting Approach. It's the cost-effective app that you can use in association with TrackMan and YagerTech and all those great options. You can help use that data along with this. And what is Hitting Approach? Again, it's the cost-effective app that you can utilize with pitching, with hitting, to track your hitting, track your pitching. How do your batters do in full counts, in empty counts? How do your pitchers do in any count? It helps bring all of that together to give the entire visual, holistic picture of how your players are doing. You can use it for batting practice, pitching practice. You can use it for field practice. You can check in on how the players are doing. They have apps on their phone as well. Plus, one of my favorite things is the right after the game, the spreadsheet that's right there willing for you. You can check out spreadsheets, graphs, charts, and more. All that right after the game for you as the coach and players to check out. You know, get that holistic picture about how well they truly did and things you may not have seen. Plus, it gives a questionnaire to the players at the end of the game, giving that cerebral feel to the game. How did they do? What did they think they did right? And you can customize the questions about how they address the game and what they can do even the next day going forward. I urge you today, check out the great folks at hittingapproach.com. Get a free trial going. Check them out. Get them out there to see that they are the real deal, cost effective, and they've got everything integrated for you. So check them out today at hittingapproach.com. Man, there's so many overthinking. You've already mentioned overthinking can really drain anybody, any team, and everybody's comes to that, right? I mean, everyone overthinks it at certain times. But again, when it comes to this camp, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that obviously Max had mentioned is really making the mental game as big a priority as anything else here. And again, not only so with all that stuff, fundamentals here, Max, assume, diving into fundamentals, diving this, so all that stuff. We don't want to give a ton away here, but certainly a lot of fundamental preach, because I assume even now for kids, you're still going over fundamentals at this point, I assume, from both catching and hitting.
Yeah, absolutely. Still doing tee work, front toss, all of that every single day when we go in and hit. Just doing PVC pipe, working on load and things like that. Another thing that I learned when I got to college, and I didn't really even have any idea about it, was just like the amount of vision training we do and zone control stuff that we do that I didn't even really think was a part of baseball, but learned about that pretty quick, and something we take very serious. We have like eye doctors come in, test, what parts of our vision are strong, and weak, and then try and train the weaker parts to really develop our eyesight and our ability to pick up on things. That way we can control the zone, because swinging at balls in the zone generally creates good things, and swinging
Yep.
at balls outside of the zone generally creates bad things. So
Yeah.
really trying to hold the zone as much as possible. We do a ton of zone control,
Yep.
vision stuff.
Man, and that is truly next level, and one of the things that makes Iowa such a great place to go. But again, as we start to wind down here, Max, I also, again, ladies and gentlemen, get involved here. Get involved with both. I mean, 2 day action here for the hitting side of things, and make sure December 30th you get there for the catching camp as well. A lot of things involved with there. Register, like Max said, at theyardmc.com. We'll make sure to put that up here as you continue on as well. But and I also wanted to just give a little bit of shout out here, Max. When you've come from again, Newman being a great baseball, and I also don't want to belittle any of the other sports, but man, baseball and softball just at a whole nother level when it comes to Newman. And you come over here to Iowa, and you have a manager system that they're giving anything. I mean, I don't think there's a single bit of data point that they haven't combed over. And when it comes to that, coming into the college ranks, how helpful is that? What has that been like for you to come into the University of Iowa, and they have a system that's nationally known that everyone wants to be a part of. So as a player, how how does that make you feel when you try and get prepared for what is a grueling Big Ten schedule?
Yeah. It's crazy to me the amount of technology and data that we get now. Um, our main guy that runs it is Connor Curtis, and he does a really good job. Even if it's just a inter squad scrimmage after every game with TrackMan, we'll get like a hitting report
Mm.
that shows each pitch, what type of pitch, where it was in the zone, if we swung, um, the exit velocity, launch angle, all those types of things. And then we can kind of use that to compile like kind of an analysis on
Yep.
what pitches we do damage on, what pitches we don't. And he'll do a presentation a couple times throughout the year, kind of explaining, what we want to do in certain counts, and really emphasizing, the importance of just getting on base. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, even with catching and stuff, same thing. We get a report
Yep.
on calls we got, calls we didn't get. If we should have gotten one that was in the zone, but we didn't really catch it well,
Yep.
and get that call, things like that. So yeah, there's so many different ways that we can get information now. And our manager program is, top of the line. We owe a lot of credit to those guys. They come in every day. They work super hard. So we owe a lot to those guys, for sure. Guys and girls. We have a couple of managers too.
Yes. Everybody in there is great. And ladies and gentlemen, again, you get all that. Max has taken that in, and hey, there's a lot of stuff that's coming in from the fundamental side and more with these camps. Again, we have them right there. We'll make sure to put them up and blast them on our social media pages as well. You can go ahead and catch there, get theyardmc.com. You'll be able to catch up and get a lot of that in there. So make sure to get in and make sure to get there now. So again, Max, before we right the ship and say sayonara here, again, ages roughly 9 to 18 for both camps. 2 day hitting camp here for hitting. Absolutely need to get in there. Fundamentals galore and the mental side of the game. I assume that, as we talk about, that seems to be the big picture and the focus here. And why not for kids developing? It seems to kind of be the biggest focus here for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go through the drills and skills, absolutely, but yeah, I just want to help kids understand that baseball's a game of failure. You're gonna fail, but it's not failing. It's how you develop from there, and move on and get better and get it the next time.
Yes, no doubt about that. Well, hey, if there isn't anything else for the good of the cause, man, I appreciate you coming along for the ride here. Get over there yardmc.com. It doesn't matter. Take the drive. It's well worth it. The facility. And by the way, Max, shout out to the Yard. We talk about it there, but how cool is it to have that facility in your backyard as a high schooler and be able to put on a camp at that type of facility?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Cody Meyer runs the facility there. I've been, going there since I was super young, whether it's lifting or hitting. So yeah, it's a really awesome facility. Yeah, so I'm really thankful to be able to use that, and excited for it for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I am very excited. Can't wait for it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, get there. Max, thanks again. I didn't want to divulge too much because there's so much that you got going on with this camp. And ladies and gentlemen, get signed up here. But I do want to thank you for taking the time, man.
Absolutely, thank you. Appreciate it for sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So again, make sure to catch up on all of this here. We'll make sure to blow up one more time here for you. The hitting camp, get there. I mean, a lot of fundamentals, things that he has learned and that Max has gone through, again, as a collegiate catcher. Now, there's a number on that screen right there. You make sure to catch that up. Also, catching side, again, yardmc.com. Register. Softball, baseball, it doesn't matter. You got one of the best in the business right here, so make sure to check that out. Again, so that's going to be where we're at. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in and catching our conversation with Max Burt. And until we see each other next time, stay safe on the base pass. Thanks again, guys.